This video is powered by KR Mangalam University.
Scared by Putin's ominous nuclear threats that have sent shockwaves across the globe, is Netanyahu suddenly shifting to show a surprising new favor towards Russia in this tense geopolitical landscape? Has Netanyahu brazenly betrayed Trump, even while dragging the United States deeper into a dangerous war with Iran that risks escalating into a broader regional conflict? Is Putin making a secret entry into the escalating war, especially now as Trump's much-touted Iran blockade appears to crumble and fails to achieve its strategic objectives on the high seas? My name is Aisha Varma. Let's dive in. Reports reveal that Israel controversially allowed a Russian ship to dock at the strategic Haifa port right in the midst of the intensifying war with Iran, raising serious questions about alliances and priorities. Ukraine has boldly claimed that this very ship was carrying stolen goods, as detailed in a recent report from the Times of Israel, published on April 15th, highlighting the contentious nature of the cargo. The Ukrainian government urgently asked Israel to detain the ship immediately, since it was loaded with stolen grain that rightfully belongs to Ukraine amid the ongoing conflict. Now, Kyiv reports that the Russian vessel, named Abinsk, was suspiciously loaded by small boats that sailed directly from various ports in Ukraine, suggesting a covert operation to smuggle out pilfered resources. Ukraine's foreign minister personally called his Israeli counterpart to urgently discuss the controversial cargo on board, aiming to address the implications of this illicit shipment in real time. Sibiha, speaking on behalf of Ukraine, declared that this illegal export of stolen Ukrainian products is a deliberate and calculated part of Russia's broader war plot to undermine and economically strangle Ukraine. Ukraine has firmly stated that no illegal trade involving stolen goods like this should ever be allowed to proceed unchecked, as it directly fuels aggression and violates international norms. Ukraine's Attorney General held a critical meeting with the Israeli envoy specifically to demand action and stop the ship from leaving the port, emphasizing the need for justice in this matter. Notably, Israel had deliberately delayed granting entry to the ship for several weeks before finally allowing it to dock, a move that has sparked widespread speculation about underlying motives and negotiations. However, this entire incident has now strained ties between Israel and Ukraine to a breaking point, especially amid the chaos of the ongoing war that demands unwavering solidarity from allies. After imposing a stringent blockade in the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz to pressure Iran amid rising tensions, Donald Trump has now dropped a big diplomatic hint that could signal a potential shift in his hardline approach. The American president candidly revealed that he's actively weighing a second round of high-stakes talks with Iran, according to the latest reports circulating in international media outlets. In a revealing interview with the New York Post, Trump specifically stated that these crucial talks with Iran could remarkably resume as soon as 2 days from now, catching many observers off guard. The United States president also disclosed that this anticipated second round of negotiations will be held in Islamabad, as confirmed by multiple reports highlighting the choice of this unexpected neutral venue. Donald Trump, however, has done a complete flip-flop on his earlier bold statement given to the New York Post, leaving analysts scrambling to understand the motivations behind this sudden reversal. According to fresh reports, Trump had previously indicated to the New York Post that the ongoing talks with Iran were progressing at a frustratingly slow pace, with no quick breakthroughs in sight. Earlier, Trump had also reportedly insisted that the second round of these critical talks wouldn't be held in Pakistan at all, a position that now appears to have been abruptly overturned. Per the New York Post, Trump had previously suggested that Europe should step up and host the next round of these pivotal talks with Iran, rather than involving other regional players. Meanwhile, the U.S. Vice President on April 14th also subtly hinted at the possibility of a second round of talks with Iran, adding further layers of intrigue to the evolving diplomatic saga.
So I think some people, their reaction to this is to say, well, he shouldn't have said that. And look, there are certainly things that the Pope has said in the last few months that I disagree with. Let me just take one very concrete example, related to this conflict in Iran. So the Pope said something where he said, and I'm going to try to remember the exact quote, but he said that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now, on the one hand, again, I like that the Pope is an advocate for peace. I think that's certainly one of his roles. On the other hand, how can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from, those who had survived the Holocaust? I certainly think the answer is yes, and I agree. Jesus Christ does not. I agree. Jesus Christ certainly does not support genocide. I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been, again, hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth. And that's one of the things that I try to do. And it's certainly something I would expect from the clergy, whether they're Catholic or Protestant. Now, to respond to this guy here, he said, I believe he said the administration supports a genocide in Gaza. And here's my response to that. When we came in, the humanitarian situation in Gaza was an absolute catastrophe. You know who's the person who got a peace agreement in Gaza? Donald J. Trump. So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza, so if you want, sir, to complain about what happened in Gaza, why don't you complain about Joe Biden and the last administration? We're the administration that solved that problem. The president, excuse me, sir, right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years because we have taken that situation seriously. And that's one of the things that I'm proud of about our administration is whether it's there or Thailand and Cambodia, we have consistently tried as much as we can to solve these problems, not just complain about them like the guy who just ran away angry.
My one question is, when you looked across from these Iranian negotiators, what did you make of them? Did you get the sense that they really were the right people? I mean, I'm assuming you guys know this type of thing, but...
Yeah, I mean, look, you never know. The United States had never had meetings at that level with the Iranian government in 49 years. Huh. Like it's a meeting that had never before happened. Not Democrat, not Republican. We had never had a meeting like that where you have, the person who's effectively running the country in Iran sitting across from the Vice President of the United States. That had never happened. And what look, honestly, after 49 years, there's a lot of course, mistrust between Iran and the United States of America. You're not going to solve that problem overnight. But yeah, I think the people we're sitting across from wanted to make a deal. And I know the President of the United States told us to go out there and negotiate in good faith. That's what we did. That's what we're going to keep on doing. So you never know, though. But here's where we are on, fundamentally, the President set a policy. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and right now we are negotiating to make sure that very thing happens. And here's, what's interesting about this is, what's interesting about this is that we have this ceasefire that's in place. I think it's 6 or 7 days old. Right now, the ceasefire is holding. And what you're seeing is, the president wants to make, he doesn't want to make like a small deal. He wants to make the grand bargain. And what he's basically offering to Iran is very simple, and frankly, it's something that no president has had the ability to offer. He said that if you're willing to act like a normal country, we are willing to treat you economically like a normal country. He doesn't want a small deal. And that's one of the reasons why, one, I'd say in Pakistan, we made a ton of progress. But the reason why the deal is not yet done is because the president, he really wants a deal where Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, Iran is not state-sponsoring terrorism, but also the people of Iran can thrive and prosper and join the world economy.